Hello, it's another Monday.
It's another Monday, yes. Slightly different this Monday in that I have literally been talking nonstop all morning. I had a break for I had a break for a cup of coffee, but even during that, my wife wanted to talk to me. It was like we're going to stop talking. Like I've been on back-to-back calls, but it's always a pleasure to be on a call with you, especially to find out how Macanta is better today than it was this time last week.
What have we been up to? Um, so yeah, I was thinking about this because the first thing I was going to say is, oh, we sorted out loads of bugs and whatever. And it's a pity there is this term bugs because it always makes it sound as if it's mistakes or something that has gone wrong or whatever. And it isn't. It's a lot of the time it's just someone points out why doesn't it do this? It's like, oh yes. But we've just got this overall term for bugs because if it's not a new feature, then what is it? It's sort of in
Yeah,
between. Um, so no, I've got seven items for you today. Um, First one is we've done a redesign of the contact view, the actual contact itself, and it's one of those things you look at the screen for now nearly a year, and then you realize, well, it should have just been like this. So we've made the contact actually really small. It used to take up a third of the screen, but most of the time when you go to a contact, it's to go and do something with the data that lives on that contact. You're not going there to change their name or change their billing address or anything. Those are very seldom things. The stuff you do a
indeed.
lot for most of the
Yeah,
contacts lives in the bottom half of the screen. So now we've
makes
just
sense.
shrunk it down. You get some real estate back, less scrolling. You still have
Which is now
access
the
to everything, but
which is now the bottom two-thirds of the screen.
yeah, yeah. So that's there. Then we've also added the ability. So what used to happen in the past is you've got a data object, you want to connect another contact to it with a particular relationship. And when you go to do that, you realize the contact doesn't exist. So then up until today, what you would have to do is close what you were doing, add the contact, go back to the data object, go and search for the contact and connect it. Whereas now,
Sounds like a lot of work.
when you search and it's not there, there's a button to just add the contact. It doesn't then open that contact, which is how all the other add contact buttons in the app work. It just then allows you to select the relationship for that data object and you carry on with what you're doing.
That's one of the first occasions where I've actually seen something in Macanta before you told me about it. I saw that. I saw that on one of my calls today. I don't normally take people through Macanta, but this was with one of our uh, partners we work with very closely, or
Yeah.
just starting to work with, and he kind of wanted to see a bit more behind the scenes. And I went to connect a contact. I thought, oh, let's add new contact there. I've not seen that before.
That's a new
How
button.
long that's been? That's great. And it was absolute case in point because there was the partner that we work and his business partner on the call, and I started to say, "Oh, I won't add you because you won't be in Macanta." So I added myself. But then as I was saying that, I thought, "Oh,
There's a
that's
button
the
there.
button there that could add him. I could add him in."
Yeah.
I wasn't 100% sure how it worked though, so I wasn't. I didn't want the first time I pushed the link
To be on a
to be on a
call.
live call with a new
Yeah.
partner.
Yeah.
Good. So I'm
I
glad
never
that worked
work
as
in
intended.
TV with animals, children, and new features.
So
um,
true.
Another one is just a small interface issue when well, not issue, but when you pull up a widget or Macanta query results for some reason unknown to anyone, there was a decision taken at some point that the individual, like a spreadsheet, the rows in the results need to be really fat and wide and high. So we've shrunk those down so you now get twice as many on the screen. You've still got all the functionality, you're just not wasting loads of clear space for no reason.
Nice.
We've also got the ability to, so let's say you've got widgets on your dashboard, there's a refresh button for each widget. So you can look at a widget and say, well, just refresh that and give me the latest details. but there's then also one button on the dashboard that will refresh all the information, all the widgets.
Great.
Whereas previously you had to sort of refresh the interface, or it only refreshes when you load it. We've just enhanced that, and
Yeah.
made it more like the way it really should be.
Yeah. It's always, it's important to know that you're working with current data as it,
yeah.
real time as it should be.
If you're driving a car and the speedometer shows you the speed you were going half an hour ago, not much use. We also, so we've got under communication history, we've got emails. We've just added an extra field because it was a bit confusing for users, where we've got recent action. So what would happen in that case is, if you sent an email a week ago, but someone opened it again today, it just shows you today's date as the recent action. It didn't have the original send date permanently there. So we've added that in. So you've still got that most recent, when did they last open it, when did they most recently click on it, or anything like that. But the original send date is also
there. And that's, I guess that's an example of what you're talking about earlier in terms of being a bug. In one sense, is it an error that it's not there? Yes, with hindsight, you could have put it in, but it's not really a new feature, because you just said it wasn't broken. Exactly. So we were just continually enhancing and improving and making it better.
Yep. And then we've added tasks to be part of the permission, task access to be part of the permission templates. So you now have the option to say, well, okay, for these types of users with this permission template, they can only see their own tasks, or task lists and widget, or they can see everyone's. So if I'm a sales manager, I want to see what everyone's up to, but the individual sales people only see their own tasks. I also have the flexibility to say, well, yes, show them their own and these two people. So if there's a smaller team that I'm in charge of, or anything like that. So it's not all users, but I can see the 3 or 4 people who I'm responsible for.
Wow.
And that, again, is just part of the permission template. And then last but not least is actually one which was, we went down the rabbit hole with this a bit. User highlighted this for us. When you load a data object, we store the data in the browser cache so that you can just work with it, save, and then we write back to the database. But if you've got lots of clever, extensive automation, then I could make a change, click save, go and make a cup of tea, come back and carry on working on the same data object. In the meantime, some automation would have run in the background, changing some of the values on the data object. Now, if I don't refresh my screen and I click save again, I'm overwriting some of those changes the automation made, which either means you lose data or you trigger the automation again, which, especially if you're running emails and stuff, you don't want to do that. So what we've now got is a data edit heartbeat function. So we now compare the data object that's loaded in the browser with the database pretty much every 5 seconds. And if a value, either by automation or by another user, changes for that data object in the actual backend database, a message pops up on your screen saying the data has changed since you last saved. And we also highlight the field or fields that have changed and update them with the new values. So that when you then click save, you're not making changes that were already made before, or undoing anything. So it's a bit
if you do want it back the way you had it, then at least you're consciously doing it. You're not accidentally overwriting stuff.
So that's in there, and that seems to be working quite well. So
no, and the first time I experienced that as well was really great. I had done what you were describing, and suddenly this message popped up. I thought, oh yeah, with the field highlighted. Wow, that's cool, man.
So because what we can't do is stop it, because it doesn't know when you save. we don't know whether you're going to go and make a cup of tea or not. So we can't say don't
No.
run any automation for 5 minutes or whatever, because so that's working quite well, and that's where we are for the week.
Good work.
So back next Monday with more.
Same time, same place. See you then.
Cool. See you then.
Over and out.
Cheers.
Bye.